Hi there boys and girls, here we are with the Mercedes-AMG GT3 at iRacing 2016 Season 3 just starting. We're week 13, last day of week 13 I suppose. And I decided to do a test here with the ABS settings, the onboard settings for the ABS of this car, and see if they're working correctly after seeing some debate about it on the forums, and I don't think they rather worked. So let's test it out. I'm going to accelerate here on the straight line up to until around 190 kilometers an hour and just slam the brakes and see what happens, and afterwards we'll also analyze telemetry to see the differences in braking. There we are, you can see the switches. ABS switch is on, ABS setting on 12, which is supposedly the max. And off we go. 190, slam the brakes. Absolutely no locking whatsoever. Gonna turn around the car, be right back. Right, so now let's set the ABS switch to off. Everything else remains exactly the same. Off we go. At 90, slam the brakes. No lock up, nothing, exactly the same. Now, let's turn the car around again. Right, this time let's set it to 1, minimum ABS. Off we go. You go to 190 and then slam the brakes. Slam it. I can hear some locking, I can see the smoke, I can definitely feel on the wheel as well vibrating. So it did make a difference even though the ABS switch has been off for the last 2 settings. Turn the car around, and now this time we'll set it to on, although still at 1. Going to 190, slam the brakes. Needless to say, exactly the same thing, same smoke, same vibration, same braking feel, same sound. Now let's check telemetry. Right, so this is the telemetry for the run we just did at the centripetal circuit. We can see here that we accelerated 4 times to a max of 190 kilometers an hour, 4 peaks, and each of the time we hit the brakes at 100% braking force, kept it there until we came to a complete stop. If you know, so okay, I have the speed here, and then the next 2 lines or 2 graphs are the wheel speed, which, you know, if you know telemetry, you know what you're looking at. If you don't, just ignore that. We'll look at these 2, and in fact let's just look at this one, which are the 2 front wheels, and it's a math channel just comparing the ratio of the speed of the wheels compared to the speed of the car. So you can see if the wheels are spinning slower or faster than the speed of the car. We have here the fronts, here the rears. We can focus on the fronts just for simplicity. So remember, on the first braking zone, when we hit it, we had ABS at 12 and the switch at on. So we had ABS engaged. Now we can see that the front wheels here slow down between 6 and 10%, 12% compared to the speed of the car. So the wheels are slowing down, they are not locking up. If they would lock up, this line will look much bigger, and here you would see big dips in the front wheel speed, and you know, if you actually lock them up, they would go all the way to 0 because they're stopped and they're not spinning anymore. So it doesn't really lock up, it slows the wheel down, has a bit of slip there between 6 and 12-ish %. If you really zoom them up, you can see the ABS working there and releasing the wheels every time they start to go around 12. So second braking zone, went there, accelerated, hit the brakes. In this zone we had ABS at 12 and the switch at off. So what we should get is the wheels locking up, or at the very least a big difference between having the max ABS 12 on and no ABS 12 off. But guess what? There's no difference. The wheels are not locking up. They are, again, slowing down compared to the car, but they're slowing down pretty much the same thing as they did with the 12 on. So no significant difference there. There might be small difference, but we would need to test more to see if that difference is consistent per run. So if I did, for example, 3 runs with a max ABS, would they look exactly the same, yada yada. But it's sufficient for us to see here that the ABS is far from off. So this is 12 off. Then for the next run we accelerated, hit the brakes, and remember we had 1 off. I mean, it's off anyway, so 12 off to 1 off should not make any difference, but it did. You can see here that it's locking up quite a bit, so the fronts are slowing down a lot compared to the car, or at least a lot more, even 25% around here. And as it starts to get pretty slow, it slows down even more and more. But I think it gets, yeah, around 30% there towards the end of the braking zone. So it's slowing down a lot. It's starting to lock up, but it doesn't completely lock up at any time until, you know, the speed is never zero until the car reaches zero speed as well. So ABS 1 off has a big difference to 12 off, but the ABS is still on and the wheels don't completely lock. Now, if we go to the last braking zone, this was 1 on. There should be a small difference between the minimum ABS 1 on and having it off. But guess what? There isn't. The curves here of both graphs on the front wheels look absolutely similar between the third braking zone here, 1 off, and the last braking zone, 1 on. The slip there on the front wheels is very similar. The slip on the rear wheels here, if you look at it, if you look at the curves, they're really, really similar. The values are quite similar. So, in conclusion, there is, and the settings are working, there is a difference between setting it 1 and 12. Probably there is a difference, you can feel the difference within that range as well, from 1 to 12. But there is no significant difference between switching the ABS on or off, regardless of your setting, and there is no way to switch the ABS completely off and actually lock the wheels up. Thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and hope to see you next time. Ciao.